Mr. David Devinish is our colleague at EcoNavitas. And as we've seen through the discussion of green buildings so far, there's a big need for a lot of collaboration between all the parties involved and new technologies, new materials, new design techniques. And David's going to cover some factors that will positively impact the success of that endeavor. So, David?
My fellow speakers have spoken on the subject of the business case for building green, including considering how the tangible and intangible benefits, defining the green building concept, and mitigating the risk through building green. The intention of my presentation is to indicate how good program management techniques, such as comprehensive scope statements and clear roles and responsibilities, coupled with the application of benefits management, risk management, cost management, etc., can also break down the obstacles to achieving energy efficiency buildings. Joanna has already made reference to the decision-making islands that typically have been experienced in developments around the world. In some countries, these islands have been broken down, typically through government intervention. This is included in the UK back in the early 1990s, a report commissioned by the government, the Egan report, which looked at the dynamics of the construction industry and led very much to the Construction Excellence Initiative in the UK that actually very successfully broke down a lot of the barriers between the players in the construction industry. However, this structure does remain in a lot of less mature, in the nicest possible sense of the word, areas around the world. The first block describes the various technical disciplines involved in the building sector. The second block in the middle there describes the building delivery process. This slide illustrates the most significant commercial relationships in the building supply chain. It would be interesting at the end of the conference to reflect back on the actual breakdown of the audience today and see where they fit into this value chain, to see what mix. So far over the networking opportunities, for instance, I've met very few project managers and very few designers and no contractors yet. So it would be interesting, if there are any contractors in the audience, please could they identify themselves to me. What does this mean in practice? Local authorities influence the value chain through enacting building processes for their areas. These rules can often be a compromise between high levels of energy performance and cost considerations. As we've noted, developers are the primary actors in commercial and residential construction are frequently speculative, which inevitably results in a short-term focus on buildings' financial value. On the other hand, owners who hold property to receive income from tenants have a longer-term view, which may make energy-saving investments attractive. But owners may not be able to reap the benefits of such investments as energy cost savings go to the occupier, even though the owner incurs the investment cost. However, the end user may not be in a position to make the necessary investment. This weakens the incentive for such energy efficiency investments. Integrated project management, or what I prefer to term program management, recognise that the life cycles of commercial and residential properties, or in fact any major asset, involves subsets of projects which collectively achieve beneficial objectives. In real estate, these sub-projects can include the initial acquisition of a land bank, the raising of finance, the marketing to individual tenants and buyers, and the asset management of the completed building. The construction project delivers an output, but this in its own right will not deliver the financial objectives if the building remains unoccupied. The projects may involve different players and may follow different timelines. Programs, the top line on there, often have a long duration, such that some future activities are only aspirational ideas when the programme is first defined, i.e. during the acquisition of a land bank. Many professionals are involved at different stages of a design project, and many factors need to be taken into account. It needs to be recognised that designers need to be able to carry out extra iterations, revisiting earlier stages to optimise the many factors and introduce cost-effective innovations. However, most projects follow a sequential approach, finalising one stage before moving to the next, with fee structures aligned to this linear approach and compartmentalisation. Integrated management allows a common purpose to be communicated across all the sub-projects and players, enabling the intended benefits to be achieved. Joanna also showed this slide in her presentation. Stepping back from integrating energy efficiency into buildings for a moment, the profiles on the diagram are those anyway associated with the application of systematic value engineering, a technique applied to greater or less extent on all types of projects. Cynthia has talked in her presentation about value, the relationship between functionality and cost. In value engineering workshops, energy efficiency can become another component in establishing the required functionality of the building and how this is explicitly related to costs over the life cycle of the development. Energy efficient initiatives are justified if the life cycle cost-benefit analysis is positive. Sylvia and Joanna spoke about improving risk management through building green and the intangible benefits, and these should be taken into account in such a cost-benefit analysis. Real estate projects tend to have unique characteristics, and hence it is difficult to indicate an order of magnitude. However, it can be said that if energy efficient initiatives are considered at an early stage of the project, the upfront capital cost may be found to be relatively insignificant. And I think we had some evidence of what that actually meant from some of the earlier speakers this morning. Integrated project management can achieve improved building performance with lower costs and fewer disruptive changes during the later project stages. The earlier integrated project management, i.e. during preferably through the preliminary design stage, is engaged, the greater the impact. There is a role for both what I term a program management function within the client and the traditional project manager. The professional program management function can assist the client in establishing and communicating the intended benefits to the integrated project team, whilst the project manager can focus on the delivery of the contributing outputs during the design and construction phases. Such a structure can avoid delay and can establish a right first time approach. These benefits can outweigh the cost of such a function. Joanna also showed the matrix of team participants' attitudes, but I hadn't realised the significance of the Simpson family in what they do for the construction industry, so I missed that off my slide. There's a role to be played by the client's program management function in facilitating the team to gain the know-how and commitment of a high-performing leader team, as shown in the top right-hand quadrant. More specifically, in incorporating the concepts of energy efficiency into the building process, the client's program management function can coordinate the financing arrangements for the project, identifying potential sources of grants, etc. And the function can also coordinate the integration of green building principles and solutions into the building design, whilst ensuring that value engineering is being rigorously applied and the intended benefits are not being diluted. In summary, good program management or integrated project management techniques can break down the obstacles to achieving energy efficiency buildings in addition to delivering projects to cost, specification and timescales.